from chapter 2, the percent proportion. Now, this is on page 121. What we're talking about when we say the percent proportion, we are talking about taking a number, okay, that proportion of the number, and turning it into a percent, okay? Or we could say a part of something. As you see here, we have a part of a truck. We have the weight of a truck. And we know that the tires on a monster truck weigh approximately 2 tons. The entire truck weighs 6 tons. Okay, that's quite heavy. But so then we have here 2 tons, right? One tire is 2 tons, and the entire truck is 6 tons. So really what we have is part of it. We have, if I zoom in, okay, we have 2 tons at the top, which is the tire, and the entire truck is 6 tons. All right? If we were to simplify that, we have the weight 1/3, because they can both be divided by 2 to be simplified, right? It's the same equivalent fraction. Now, what we want to do with this information is turn it into a percent. Okay, we're taking the percent proportion of it. All right, so let's go down here. Represent the fraction above by shading. Well, we know that we have 2 tons, so 1 ton and 2 tons out of the entire 6 tons, right? Okay, for question 3, we're being asked to write the fraction as a decimal. So let's write this fraction, 1/3 or 2/6, as a decimal. And many of you already know that 1/3 is 33%, 33.3 bar notation. And 33% becomes 0.33 as a decimal. Okay? Now let's write that as a percent. About what percent is that? Well, multiply by 100 is about 33%. For our first key answer, let's draw this girl right here in the back of the truck, enjoying life. Life's a party to this girl, and let's call this girl Claudette. Okay? Now I'd like to direct your attention to, on page 122, to the top part, the percent, use the percent proportion. Now this is a key concept that we have. We've used this method in class to find the missing variable. Now here we have, for example, what percent of 5 out of 5 is 4. So what they're telling you is, of 5 out of 5, what is 4? And we can use an equivalent fraction to make it out of 100, because out of 100 would be our percent, right? So we multiply the 5 times 20, and it gives us 100. We do the same to the top, times 20, and our 4 will be 80. Therefore, right here we can say 4 out of 5 is 80%. You see that? 80%. 4 out of 5 is 80%. So what percent of 5 is 4? There we go. Let's try the second one. It's essentially the same question, except they're asking it differently now. You see here, let me draw your attention. Now they're telling you what number is 80% of 5. So they're giving you the 80% as we solved it here. They're giving you the 80%, but now they want to know the number. So you go backwards. What did you do to the 100 to make it 5? Do the same to the 80. You divide by 20, you divide by 20. And now here's the way that this question is written. 4 is 80%. There it is. 4 is 80%, right? Of what number? Well, you know 80% is over 100. So now the one we're missing is this 5. You see that right there? Okay? Please, 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 please familiarize yourself with this wording so that you can see what numbers we're asking for and we don't have any confusions. This is very important, so please put a star right there. Okay, and that'll be part of the key answer. As you can see, it's not a good idea to write on the back of a truck. Alright, let's continue on page 122, as you see right there. Let's zoom in. Now, we're going to work with what percent of 25 is 20. Let's see, what percent of 25 is 20? Reflecting back on top of the page, what percent of 25 is 20? It looks like this one. What percent of 5 is 4, right? Doesn't it look like that? Except with the different numbers. So we're looking for, we have 4 over 5. So we're going to have 20 over 25, okay? Equals a number over 100, because we're looking for the percent. Okay, we're looking for what percent is 20 of 25. So go ahead and draw this out. 20 out of 25 equals 100. 25 is our 100%. What did I do to the 25? Well, as you know, I multiplied it by 4 to give me 100. And I multiply the top by 4, and we get our nice 80%, right? So there's your answer. Let's do the next one. $12.75 is what percent of 50? So we have dollars over dollars, right? And we want to know what percent that is. Oh, that's pretty simple. We have $12.75 over 50. All right, over 100, right? Because we want to know what percent it is, and we're looking for this as a percent. What did I do to this? I doubled it and multiplied it times 2. So I must multiply this time by 2, and I'm going to have 25.5, right? 25.5 out of 100, so it's percent. So $12.75 out of 50 is 25.5%. Okay, let's draw our little character as a key answer right there. And she seems to be okay. Okay, let's continue on page 123. On page 123, we're being asked what number is 5%. Now, you know that you have the 5%, so that's 5 over 100 of 60. 60 is our total. What is 5% of 60? Well, we have 5% of the whole number 60. Now, they're not saying that 5% is 60. They're not saying that, right? They're just saying 5% of or out of 60, right? 5%. So 5%, don't forget, out of 60. So, boys and girls, this is where it's good to know your fractions. 6 is 3/5 of 100, right? Because if we were to divide 100 by 20s, you're going to have 5 20s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But for 60, you only have these 3. 1, 2, 3, 20, 40, 60, right? So, these 3 is 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3/5 of 100. So, what is 3/5 of 5? Well, it's 3, right? 3/5 of 5. It's already out of 5. You see that? It's already out of 5. Well, what's 3 parts of it? 3. Okay, include your answer at the top. And now let's do 12% of 85 is what number? So 12 out of 100, 12% of 85 out of 85. 85 is our total. So we have 12 out of 100, 12% of 85, right? Now again, you could work with fractions to figure it out. Or you could just say there are 20 5s right here, and how many 5s are here? You have 17 5s right there. Now this one's not going to be as easy to do because you're going to have a decimal, right? If I have 17/20th here, 17/20th, I need what 17/20th of 12 is. So you're going to have a decimal. So here, let's try it like this. What did I do to 100 to make it 85? Well, we clearly divided because we went from a larger number to a smaller number. But we don't know what we divided by. So why don't we just go ahead and divide? Divide 100 divided by 85. That's going to give you what we did to this, what we divided by. So when you divide 100 divided by 85, you should get, I believe it's 1.17, right? 1.176 or something like that. Let me try it. Let's do the same thing to the 12. So you're going to take now 12 and divide it by 1.17. You should get 10.25641. It's a long number, so let's just round it to 10.25. Okay, you can leave it at that. And this, boys and girls, is 12% of 85. Okay, let's go to the bottom of the page. Our next question is asking us 40% of what number is 26. So 40% of what number is 26? You understand that? Okay, so 40% of what number is 26? So 40% is 26. Okay, but of what number? We're looking for this number. What number? Now, boys and girls, as many of you know, this is 2/5. because you know how to count by 20s. Here are 2 20s, here are 5 20s. So that's 2 fifths. We're saying that 26 has 2 of them. 2 what? Well, 26 divided by 2 is 13. So 26 has 2 13ths, right? 2 13ths. We're looking for 5 of them. We have 2 here. We're looking for 5 of them. Okay? So 5 13ths would be 65, wouldn't it? 5 times 13, 65. And that's how you can get it. Remember, you can always pause and copy it down and always go back and see what I did or what I said, okay? Now here we're being asked the same question. We're being told more directly that 84 is 75. So 75%, everyone knows this, 75 out of 100. So 75 is 84. Here's our 84, right? Believe it or not, we can do this one a lot like the one we did before. Simplify this. How many 25s do I have here and how many 25s do I have there? Well, at the top I have 3 25s and at the bottom, my denominator, I have 4 25s, don't I? Well, are there 3 of anything here? Is this number divisible by 3? Divisibility rules of 3 says if you add both numbers and you get a multiple of 3, it is divisible by 3. If I add 8 plus 4, I get 12. 12 is a multiple of 3. So yes, this number is divisible by 3. When I divide 84 by 3, I get 28. So there we go. There are 3 28s. But now I need 4 of them, right? Like we said, 4. There are 4 25s right there, right? So now I need 4 28s. 4 28 is going to equal 4 times 28 is 112. And there you have it. So up here, 84 is 75% of what number? It's 75% of 112. Okay? Alright, now we're looking at the guided practice on page 124. Let me help you with this. We are looking at what percent of $90 out of $90 is $9. Oh, okay. $9 out of $90. I hope you can see this. I hope you can see what $9. If you're multiplying by the table of multiplication tables of 9, when you multiply 9 times 10, you will have 90. But 9 times 1 is 9. And remember that 1 can represent 10%. Can't it? What number is 2% if we were making it out of 35? So we're making it out of 35, right? And we're looking for the number that would be 2%. 2%. Don't forget, 2 out of 100, right? Now here's a little trick for this one, okay? Let's see if this works for you. If it doesn't work for you and I'm just confusing you, just use the divide and multiply method. But listen to this. Let's pretend that this is 20. But we always remember that the decimal is right there. But let's just see it as the number 20, right? I can see it as 1/5, can't I? Right? I can see it as 1/5, but I know that my decimal is over here. Alright, but let's just say I can see it as 1/5. Now, what if I were to look for 1/5 of 35? Well, 1/5 of 35 is 7. 7. But I have to move the decimal place over 1 from back to where it was because I moved this decimal place over 1 this way to make it 20. Right? I moved it over 1 to make it 20. Better to draw it like this. Right? I moved it over. Now the decimal place is out of place. I gotta move it back. Right? So my answer would be 0.7. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, then don't stress it too much. I just pretended I was looking for 1/5. 1/5, but then I put it back, put the decimal back to where it was supposed to go. Because this is, if it were 7, this would be 1/5 of 35. Alright, 62 is 90.5% of what number? 62 is 90.5%. Okay, what did I do to this 90 to make it 62? So just take 90 divided by 62 and that'll give you what number you need to divide 100 by. Okay? Go ahead and solve that one on your own. let's look at number 4.